working? Testing, you got me? Yes? Can anybody hear me? Is the microphone on? Hello? Okay, now we go. There we go. All right, we're going to start a little early pursuant to our recently adopted rules. Any public speakers? All right, we have no public speakers. We'll move right into the agenda, to the committee work plan. I'm sorry, to the committee minutes from September. Do I have a motion? Okay, all in favor? All right, minutes adopted. Committee work plan.
No changes to the work plan.
Okay, take it away.
All right, we'll start with the report on operations.
Okay. The report on operations begins on page 18. Traffic was higher in August with 27.2 million crossings as compared with 26 million crossings in August 2014, representing a 4.7% increase in traffic. Average gas prices continued downward at $2.68 per gallon for the month, 99 cents less than the same period last year. Rainfall amounts of 1.9 over 4 days during August versus 3.5 over 8 days in August 14 also contributed to the traffic increase. Easy Pass volume increased by 6.2% in August 2015 as compared to August 14, while crossings using cash and other payment methods declined 2.2% for the month. Passenger car travel was up 4.9%, and other vehicle travel was up 1.9% from August 2014. Preliminary monthly traffic figures for September 2015 are 2.9% more than the same period in 2014, and October is up approximately 4.3% through the 18. There are no questions. That ends the report on operations.
Thank you. I understand that we do have one public speaker. Murray, if you'd like to join us.
You started early. Commissioner Chapman, congratulations on the recognition that you recently got. Well deserved. President Sparrow, I'd like to meet with you and your traffic engineer to discuss the implementation of the manual on the uniform traffic control devices. At 2 o'clock today, I'll be meeting with Pat Foy, Executive Director of the Port Authority, and his Chief Traffic Engineer to discuss similar items, how that manual is used. So if we can arrange some time, it would be helpful if you sat in on the meeting and when it gets started and find out which way we have to go, what direction, with your traffic engineer. It just needs you to be there at the start of the meeting and see that it goes in the right direction. And I believe somebody has my email so that this can go forward promptly. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, back to the agenda.
Okay, thanks, Commissioner. We'll move on to the safety report.
Good morning. Our report on safety is illustrated on pages 32 and 33, in which you will see the charts and graphs showing the 5-year summary of employee accident reports, lost time injuries, customer collisions and injury collisions, and contractor injuries. As shown on page 32, for the first 8 months of this year, the number of employee accident reports have decreased by 18.7%, and lost time injuries for the same period by 21.5%. The next page shows that during the same period, a total customer collision rate has increased by 4.5%, and the injury collision rate has decreased by 2.1%. The contractor lost time injury rate has increased by 22.2%. Unless there are questions or comments, this concludes my report. Thank you for your attention.
Move on to the Easy Pass report. On page 34, it begins. The market share was just under 84%. For the month of August, up more than 1% from the year before. More than 29,000 Easy Pass accounts were opened in August. Almost half were on the go. And we are now up to 630,000 on-the-go tags sold in the lane since the program began, and up more than 40% year to year on on-the-go sales. If there's no questions on the Easy Pass report, I will move on to the financial report, which begins on page 40. Total revenue through August was $1.188 billion. That's $16.6 million, 1.4% better than planned. Traffic's up 1.3% against the budget year to date. It was up 2.6% in August. Preliminary September is also looking good. Revenue up about $2.9 million, 1.9% against the budget, and traffic is also up about 1.8% against the plan. Year to year, our traffic, as Pat mentioned, up 4.7% in August, and preliminary September results look similar, or look also very good, close to 3%. On the expense side, $275.2 million expended through August, about $24.5 million, 8.2% lower than planned. Non-labor costs about 10% less than planned, $12.2 million, primarily timing, and labor costs lower as well by about the same amount, $12.3 million, primarily due to payroll vacancies. And overtime, overall down about 7.9%, $1.3 million against plan. And our support to mass transit through August was $772 million, $58.3 million, 8.2% better than planned. That concludes the financial report. If there's no questions, and the preliminary budget is included in, as you know, from July, and we'll be presenting next month. I believe the November plan will be submitted next month, presented at Finance. We'll move on to the capital program report if there are no questions.
Good morning. The report on the capital program begins on page 55. In September, there were 3 commitments made with a total value of $5.6 million. Year to date, there have been 62 commitments made with a total value of $286.3 million. This compares to a plan, 59 commitments, and a total value of $404.5 million. To date, we have committed 69% of our 2015 commitment plan. There were no completions made in September. Year to date, there have been 8 project completions made with a total value of $172.5 million. That's approximately 83% of the 2015 completion plan amount of $208.5 million. There were 14 task level closeouts in September, totaling $13.7 million. Year to date, there have been 56 task closeouts with a total value of $100.4 million. There are a number of changes to commitment dates for remaining 2015 commitments shown at the bottom of the page. Unless there are any questions, that concludes the report.
Okay, finally, we'll move on to the procurements. Gavin.
Good morning. Procurement starting on page 66. There are no non-competitive procurements or ratifications. There's 1 award for a personal service contract for construction, inspection, and administration services for work to be performed at the Throgsneck Bridge. Work includes a dehumidification system for the main cable splays and the elimination of water infiltration in the anchorages there. And the negotiated amount of $4,552,375. There are 2 public work modifications, one for additional work at the finger joints and stringer brackets of the upper deck at the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, in the negotiated amount of $5,836,903. The other for additional work associated with completing the dry fire standpipe system installation at the RFK Bridge, in the negotiated amount of $1.75 million. And the value of all these procurements total $12,139,278. Unless there are any questions, these procurements are described in detail in the attached staff summaries.
Do I have a motion? Second?
Wait, I had one question, sorry.
Second,
Go ahead.
okay, now questions.
Okay, sorry. Since you mentioned the Verrazano Bridge, I was interested to read that the MTA is now talking about potentially a bike and pedestrian lane. Can someone talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. Is part of a long-term
$300 million.
master planning study of the reconstruction needs of the Verrazano Bridge. We've included as part of that study, a look at what it would take to create a bicycle pedestrian access to the facility. So that study has advanced to the point that we're now at a juncture where we're sharing that information with interested parties, elected officials, community boards, other governmental agencies, just to get some early feedback on some of the preliminary concepts that have come out of that study. So based on the study so far, we have established some alternatives that seem to work from a technical engineering point of view. There are some additional, more in-depth analysis that needs to be done to advance those concepts further. But we're at a point where we're trying to get some preliminary feedback from the interested parties on the concepts that have been developed so far.
Have you talked to New York City DOT?
Yes, we have. In fact, we had a meeting with New York City DOT officials in the last few days. It was actually a very productive meeting.
Okay.
Okay, if anyone would like a presentation on it, if Commissioner Trottenberg could get the same briefing on it that I got, or anybody else who was available.
Be delighted,
Yeah, that'd be
absolutely.
great.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Concludes our agenda. There's no questions?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have a motion, second, questions. Now, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Procurements carry. Now, do I have a motion to adjourn? Second, all in favor? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, I would just note that since Jim Ferrara is doing other duties, gas prices continue to go down.